Welcome back to another week of Hello Ladies, Feminism, and Pro Wrestling. I'm one of your hosts, Sabrina Hannon.
And I am Megan Manley.
And we're here to talk about the weekend wrestling. And much like how the world is going, it wasn't the happiest of weeks. There were releases. Both actually, well, I guess a non-renewal from AEW, right? Because that's what they're doing with Grayson. It's not straight up release.
They couldn't come to a payment agreement is what I heard. So I guess he was asking for more than they were willing to pay, I'm assuming is what happened, which kind of sucks because Evil Uno and Stu were a tag team and now Evil Uno is still there, but I don't know what's going to happen with the Dark Order because I was talking about this.
Started.
Yeah, I was talking about this last night when I found out that he left. Like, Dark Order got super hot. Like, they were like the hottest thing going. And then all of a sudden, like Punk comes in and Brian comes in and Keith Lee comes in, Adam Cole comes in, and they bring all like these big names from WWE. And it seemed like around that time, like Dark Order started getting kind of...
They're comic relief now.
Yeah. I mean, they started kind of becoming that when Brody Lee was there, just because of all the BTE shit with like the papers and, like Johnny and Alex trying to recruit people and the whole like giving people Kool-Aid to like drink the Kool-Aid to like join the Dark Order. And the whole like, who the fuck is Griff Garrison, because they brought in Griff Garrison thinking it was Jungle Boy. Like, that's kind of like when they started becoming more comic relief than whatever the hell they were trying to do before that. But yeah, they were super over. And then like all these people came in and all of a sudden they're not on TV as much anymore. And now people are leaving from the Dark Order, and that sucks because I really like them.
Yeah, especially John Silver and we do see 10. I feel like when we see the Dark Order on TV, it's usually 10, John Silver, and Evil Uno.
And Alex Reynolds too, Johnny's partner.
Oh, yeah. And that, who else is in Dark Order?
So technically it's Evil Uno.
Isn't Anna Jay supposed to be in Dark Order?
Yeah, she's still with them on BT.
Okay.
She still comes out and does the thing when she comes out, like the Dark Order thing.
She's another one. They went to using her constantly to like, we never see her. Same thing with Penelope Ford. Like,
yeah,
they had that amazing match, or was it her and... Yeah, because it was Jay, Conti,
Penelope and Bunny.
Yeah, and even Bunny, like we have not, and those like they were getting positive reactions. The only one we're seeing now is Tay Conti and not wrestling. Like, I don't know if they were just like, we need to see fresh faces, but like when you're building a roster, they started to get like a following behind them. And now half the time when the women's matches are on, like it's silent.
And the same people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know what happened there either, because they had a banger. Like, they had a banger of a match. And I mean, like, Anna really surprised me in that match. She was much better than I anticipated. And yeah, like Penelope was getting over, and like the Bunny was a lot better. Like, I heard that she was good, but I never really saw it before. And then that match happened. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, now I see what people are saying, that like must have knew her from the indies and I didn't, that she can go. And yeah, I mean, I feel like all we really see is like Britt, obviously, Thunder Rosa.
Barely, I even feel like Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, she's just been like backstage segments really since she won the belt. Jade, obviously. Red Velvet, who bless her heart, man, she's not good.
Which, I mean, now they've like relegated her basically to what the baddies section.
Yeah, but they were just in a match, or she just had a match. I think, was it Wednesday or Friday, one of the days.
Yeah.
And
yeah, she was just on TV in a match.
Yeah, she's very green. And there's a lot of women that aren't, that are probably on Dark and Dark Elevation that should really be on the main shows.
Like I would, so especially with WWE just doing releases specifically, like a lot of talent was just released from both genders, but one of them being Dakota Kai, who I very obviously love, and I talk about her a lot. And if I think it's one of those things where, yeah, I would totally love to see her on TV. So for me, that would mean AEW. But they like Ruby Soho, they used for a month and then nada.
Yeah.
And she was so like iron hot when red hot when she came in. And they just nothing. So
Yeah, I feel like a lot of wrestlers, like women and men, they keep getting pushed aside for like the new shiny toy.
but Ruby was the new shiny toy.
Until like, the more like shit, it just, I don't understand. Like a bunch of people get signed, they'll be super over for a couple weeks, and then more people get signed, and the people that were in that last signing are like, okay, you're on Dark and Dark Elevation now.
Yeah. Like I
And
don't have much hope for Toni Storm because of that. And I like Toni Storm a lot too, but I'm just like, she'll be around like on TV for a month and then we won't see her again.
mhm.
And I think with Bunny and Penelope Ford specifically, there is now a face champion. I wouldn't be upset to see them going against Thunder Rosa. Like I think those could possibly be good matches. And sadly, I think if they weren't good matches, it might not be on them. It might be more on Thunder's part, but you know.
I don't know if Penelope's like injured because we haven't seen her in a while, and I don't know if she's even been on Dark and Dark Elevate. I'll look into that. But yeah,
Apparently both her and it's Kip Sabian that she's with, right?
yeah.
Yeah, both of them are supposed to be re-debuting or like not re-debuting, but coming back.
Okay.
So I don't know. I doubt both of them were injured. Maybe like one of them just wasn't on, so they didn't have the other. I don't know.
Well, he's been the guy with the box on his face that you
Yeah.
always see in the crowd. So I mean,
But they're not acknowledging that it's him.
no. So either like that is him there all the time, or they're just sticking somebody there and like saying it's him, like either way. But yeah, it's weird that they've never acknowledged it. But yeah, I don't know. But
It's one of Tony Khan's pixie stick fueled ideas, I'm sure.
right. I mean, no promotion's gonna be perfect.
No.
And that's just one of their little things that aren't that great, is that they brought in too many people and they don't like, they're not using everybody. And I understand that, like, yeah, Adam Cole and the Bucks and they're and Hangman and like Punk and Moxley, like they're gonna be used because they're the biggest people in the company, like Jericho.
I even think so. How they're using Jericho, Moxley, and Bryan, and Regal for that matter, brilliant. Like putting them together with newer faces, like to bring them up. Specifically, like we've seen Wheeler Yuta, like he's just taken off.
Yeah.
Partially because they were in Philly last week, and I messaged Megan and I was like, wow, Wheeler Yuta is really like going over. Like this is a huge reaction. And I was like, oh wait, Philly boy, of course. But I think regardless of where he was, he would have gotten a big reaction. It's just obviously much louder in his hometown.
Oh yeah, I mean, even outside of Philly, like the week before, he still got a big reaction. He's gotten huge reactions for weeks now. And even more so since he wrote in blood on his chest, like BCC.
Yeah.
That was it. That was like that was a shooting off point. And yeah, I love how they're using Mox and Bryan and Regal to like, because I don't know if it's just gonna stop at Wheeler Yuta, because when they first were mentioning like forming this thing, I think like Dante Martin was another person that they mentioned, and now his partner is hurt again. So he's gonna be floating around in Singlesville by himself. And I know there were a few others that they mentioned too. They can turn that into like a big stable.
I would love to so William Regal is also like known for giving also women screen time. So I would love, I don't know how much sway he has backstage. I mean, they'd be fools not to listen to that man. So maybe like a woman or two will come in and women will get more time. And I mean, whoever works with them is going to have just an amazing skill set bestowed upon them, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can you imagine working with William Regal, just him alone, never mind Moxley, never mind Brian, just oh. And the three of them, like while they work great together, like for whomever they would like train, they have various skill sets that would, you don't get a better commissioner type heel than William Regal. Like no matter what, I think the best face commissioner ever was Mick Foley, obviously, when he first was commissioner. And then the best heel 100% was William Regal. Like just brilliant.
No, I agree that anybody who gets like tapped to work with them is just being thrown into a well of knowledge, like all around knowledge of wrestling, and would definitely benefit from it.
I mean, William Regal selling that cursing from Danhausen, that was great.
Yeah.
And then, helps counteract the fact that Hook is no selling.
Right. Yeah, Hook has some kind of special power that it doesn't affect him.
Yep. Yeah. And the Hook and Danhausen stuff, I like where they're going with that as well. Like it's almost like a Rock and Sock connection.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. And I loved that the crowd immediately started chanting Hookhausen. Loved it.
Yes, it was fantastic. Because I didn't know what they were going to do with these two faces going off against each other. And clearly Hook was going to decimate Danhausen. But if they did it, and depending on how they did that, Hook would have wound up being a heel, possibly.
Technically, Hook is a heel because he's still coming out of the heel tunnel. He hasn't switched over to the face tunnel yet. So technically, even though he gets like the loudest reaction of anyone, he's still a heel.
I think he's like a stone cold heel, though.
I think he's gonna be switching tunnels soon.
Yeah.
I think something's gonna happen with him and Danhausen, and he's gonna end up walking back through the right hand tunnel, which is the face tunnel.
Yeah.
Because I've been saying it since he first debuted. I'm like, he's too over to still be a heel. Like he can just be a badass face. They look at Mox, like Mox is a great example of that.
Yeah.
Or like a stone cold face, like, like how he was back in the day, or Punk. Like, definitely along that route, he can definitely do it.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to talk about with AEW was that fantastic match of Wardlow versus Lance Archer, and the fucking Hurricane Rana that Wardlow didn't climb up on anything. Nope, he just jumped majestically into the air to do it. I paused and rewound, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I think that might be when I messaged you, and I was like, I love seeing big dudes move like cruiserweights. Like
cruiserweights can't even do what he did on that, like, because they don't have the height to just jump to someone's neck. Like that's what he did.
Yeah, he was very flippy in that match. Like he played the cruiserweight part between him and giant ass Lance Archer. Like
And so after that, War Daddy shared on his Instagram a picture of him as a kid on a trampoline doing like a swanton. And I stopped because as I was scrolling through my Instagram feed, I actually thought it was Jeff Hardy, like because he definitely had like the young Jeff Hardy haircut and everything. And I was not the only one in that comment section that thought that. Um, but yeah, he apparently has always just been able to do that.
That's awesome.
Just it makes me so excited to see what else he can do in that ring.
Yeah, I'm excited for Double or Nothing because I feel like that is when we're finally gonna see the, like Wardlow is all elite, and it's just gonna be such a great payoff to something that's been building for a while. Like it has to be at least a year since he's been given MJF like dirty looks and obviously like rolling his eyes behind. Like it's been a long time since you could tell that he's just like had it with MJF. And that's one good thing that AEW does do really well is their long-term build.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be just such an awesome moment when he finally, like, we see that, just like when he finally turned on him and like the crowd went absolutely out of their minds. It's going to be even more massive when you see like he's officially all elite, like,
yes,
and then can really just beat the shit out of MJF.
Which is what we're all waiting for.
That's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Did you see so when they were in Pittsburgh, MJF, I guess at the airport, I think it is, they have a statue of one of the football players.
Yes.
Did you see that? And he was like, he took a picture of him humping the guy from behind. They now have security stationed around.
No, they don't.
Yeah, to make sure people don't do that.
Oh, that's funny.
Which I'm not surprised. Like, I'm sure now that other people have definitely done it before. But it wasn't brought to their attention. Now I'm sure every wrestling fan will be lining up to hump that statue.
Oh, that is hilarious. Such a bad influence, that MJF.
I did see MJF posted on social media. I guess he was saying it's some sort of center where, among other things that they do spray tanning. And I was like, I hope you're getting a spray tan because whatever you're doing now is bad.
Yeah.
Very bad.
Yeah.
Stop.
He needs to stop doing the self spray tan and get that professionally done.
Yeah.
You're making the big bucks now. I think you can afford a session.
Yes. I'll never. So, oh, and I'm sure you saw AEW is apparently going to be doing a reality show.
Yeah.
That brought to mind, well, what made me remember that is that I was going to say, I've seen The Miz and Maurice, like they will travel with one of those tents that you set up and they do the spray tan in it. And that's led to mishaps. Like Maurice accidentally dyed him too dark. And he's like, what is this? This is kind of offensive.
Oh no.
I'm gonna be canceled.
Oh no.
He immediately like had to run in the shower and he's like, no.
Oh dear God. Maybe looking like Triple H when he dressed up as The Rock. Like,
well, I was actually gonna say both Lana and Carmella, what was it, a year and a half, 2 years ago, both were like so tan. I was just like, oh, this is crossing some lines. I'm uncomfortable, like, because I didn't recognize who they were initially. I was like, oh, I didn't know there's some new talent. Oh my God, who approved this?
Yeah, not good.
No.
I like my pasty skin. Like, I don't do any. So, well, I mean, in high school, I was, like everybody did, would go into the tanning beds, which was so not good for your skin. But I would burn, and then it would like slightly change to a tan for like a little bit, and then it would just immediately go back to pale.
So, I was actually, what the heck? I was actually in
self-destructing.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to, I guess, cut this into two separate things. Anyway, yeah. So in high school, when self-tanning, well, going to tanning beds was all the rage, I was a goth kid. So I was actually paler than I am now, and it worked out for me very nicely.
Yeah, not me. I even had the stupid stickers that they used to give you of like the Playboy bunny head, and you'd put it like on your hip to see like how much you've tanned. And oh, the early 2000s, they were a different time.
I'll never forget at our prom, this one girl that I graduated with, she worked at a tanning salon, and I'm not joking. It like she looked like a demon in the photos because it was so bad. It was just like she looked like a burnt cookie out of the oven.
Oh, if I went back through my prom pictures, I know for a fact that there's several girls that would look exactly the same way, that like Oompa Loompa. Like
they kind of, it's kind of like at bodybuilder competitions when they throw that crap on themselves. That's what it looked like. On the WWE side of things, there was the thing that we had both kind of been hoping for, where AJ Styles was getting his booty kicked after I think it was after the match, right? Yeah, by Damian Priest. Won.
So Edge came in and
yeah, Judgment Day, right? That's what they're calling themselves.
Yep.
Which I was just like, why are you named after an old pay-per-view?
I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
I like the idea of like going with a judge thing for Edge for whatever he's creating, but Judgment Day, not so much.
Yeah, it's a shitty name for a stable. I'll just be real.
Yeah. Although the judges would have sucked too. What were they? The people who would like cut people's heads off or hang them at the gallows. Yeah, like the executioners or the judge and executioners. There you go. I think I just came up with a better name that he could have done.
They shy away from like kill, die, death. I think executioner is like not PG enough. I think maybe that's probably why.
Isn't that very close to what Edge's one move is called? Doesn't he have a move like the execution or something?
Yeah, but it's Edge. It's a playful pun on words. You know, like there's not an SPFU or the FU. It's an attitude of, all that stuff got squeaky Disney-fied.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the shitty name group, when they were doing that, out came Finn Balor to save his buddy AJ Styles. And Too Sweet. My Too Sweet was very sad there for a second. He was like,
Too sweet.
Yeah, they Too Sweeted, and it was great.
Literally me at my TV when they were standing together, screaming like Batista, give me what I want, until they Too Sweeted. I don't think that Balor is gonna turn and join with Edge, but that is what a certain human that lives in my household thinks is gonna happen. And I just want him to be wrong, because when you're Bullet Club for life.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, Balor does. I don't feel like he would be a good follower in the group. Like, I don't see that. He's been to the top of the mountain already.
Yeah, he's not a group follower. He's a group leader. I mean, dude created Bullet Club. He's not gonna be a follower of Edge. Like,
yeah, and I think I would much more prefer Edge's group to have people like having him be the only person that's ever been WWE or Universal Champion in the group, because when you start having multiples, unless like they're doing it while they're in the group, it doesn't make sense unless everyone like when Triple H and Stone Cold were champions together, that made sense. And man, that would be a scary combination, but they were going up against the Brothers of Destruction, so it all kind of worked. And then Triple H tore his quad.
ugh, how many he did that like multiple times in his career, didn't he?
I don't know. Like, I just remember that was the first time he did it, and he was out for a while. I remember watching that match, watching it back, and then buying the VHS of his comeback
Mm-hmm.
as a big Triple H fan. Still am. Love that man. Love that Danhausen.
Yeah, I feel like he did it more than once. I feel like that happened to him more than one time. I'll have to look into it, but I think that happened more than once, which bad luck.
Well, I mean, Vince McMahon tore both of
Yeah.
his quads at the same time.
Yep.
So,
Because he was fucking livid about the ending of the match being botched.
mhm,
And then just sitting there like a child in the ring.
pointing.
Oh my god. Like I know it's not funny that someone tears their quads, but it's fucking hilarious to watch that every time.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something.
Old man yells at cloud.
Yes, exactly. um, and then of course, the only other like remarkable thing I would say was the women's match at the end of Raw. The three-way tag, right? Three-person tag, whatever, however they're calling them now.
The six woman tag, I
Six
guess.
woman tag, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Where
Asuka, Liv, and Bianca versus Rhea, Sonya, and
Becky,
Becky.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
Becky had to stand in the ring for 15 minutes. That is ridiculous. They call it like they have her come out. She stands there. They go to a backstage segment and then a commercial, and then they come back and it's a few more entrances, and then they go to a commercial. Someone timed it. It was 15 minutes that Becky was just standing in that ring. Like, hello.
interacting with the crowd, probably telling them to go screw themselves or
Oh my
something.
god, I hate how they do that. I hate how they have somebody come out and then
Mm-hmm.
it's like 90 backstage segments, 3 commercial breaks, and then they come back and their music's playing again. You're like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot they came out. Like,
Mm-hmm. It's even weird, like if you're at a live event and they do that, like it's weird for you too. Like it's not happy for anybody.
no, because it's all dark and like you're seeing the backstage stuff on the screen, and then it's dark during the commercial break, and that person's just standing out there, like sitting on the rope or like talking to like the announcers, and you're like, what are you
Yeah.
supposed to be doing?
And like I want to see the match. Like you've told me this is happening. I want to see it now, please. Do all this other shit beforehand.
Right? I don't get it.
Like, ugh. But yeah, Liv Morgan picked up the win, which was great.
Yeah, like I said to you, I 100% thought she was in that match to eat the pin.
Mm-hmm. Surprised us all. Surprised us all.
I don't have any faith in them actually pushing her though, because it always seems like they're going to, and then it's like, oh, you almost got it, you almost got it, and then it gets like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially now because I mean, she's not gonna go against Bianca face versus face like that.
Mm-mm.
No. And also I wouldn't believe that she could beat Bianca. There's not many people I would believe that could beat Bianca.
Rhea, Asuka,
And there's your list.
Becky, I think believably could.
Yeah.
Bailey, Sasha, Charlotte,
The four horsewomen, basically.
Naomi, I think would be credible. I would believe that. I think it'd be a tough match, but I think Naomi can credibly beat her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. Like that's
Yeah.
all I think that I would see the match and be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, so I didn't read the article because I was just about to get back into work today, but I saw it when I was scrolling that apparently Naomi has said something about potentially wanting to join the bloodline, which I think that's something we've mentioned in the past, like where
Mm-hmm.
they don't even like acknowledge that they're married anymore and acknowledge. Um, I think that'd be cool to bring her into it and have like a woman on like involved with that, and then she'd be probably super dominant because they're all super dominant in that.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I am, and Sasha is someone who could easily turn heel too. Like they could keep them together because I mean, It's Sasha Banks. She's better as a heel, honestly.
She turned as much as the Big Show. Let's be real. Like
The Big Show though, like you believed it when he was a good guy. I mean, you knew he was gonna be a heel again. I never believe it when Sasha's a face. I'm just like,
you're always just waiting. Like,
yep. It's just like, now come on. Same thing like with Alexa Bliss. The entire time she was with Nikki, everyone was just waiting for her to turn and she never did. And I kind of love that they did it that way to be like, that's one of the times where I enjoyed Vince McMahon being like in your face fans.
I really liked Alexa and Nikki together. I thought they were like a very rock and sock type. They're like my favorite kind of tag teams, like, you know, the Randy and the Riddle and your rock and sock and just the goofy and like the straight man type thing. Like I always enjoy it. That's why why I will like Cookhausen when it eventually happens. Like
yeah. So Riddle and Pete Dunne were actually a tag team for a bit too. And they did all these hilarious things down in NXT, like all these little vignettes and stuff of them like traveling together and Riddle getting them into all sorts of hijinks. And it's fantastic because Pete Dunne was just like the entire time.
They're my favorite. That is like my absolute favorite kind of tag team is like the goofy one and the straight man. Like
yeah. In the acknowledge, so with my new pup Cheddar, I really want to teach him some sort of command, but have it be acknowledge me and have him like bow.
Oh my God.
I really want to teach him to do that. And I think it's possible. I mean, I've taught him lay down and roll over and dance for that matter. So I feel like I can get him to acknowledge me.
That would be the cutest thing.
That's, I think I'm going to go for that. If nothing else, when we have our one-on-one session with a trainer in June, because he got kicked out of the group obedience classes.
Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, the poor little guy was so stressed out. I'm gonna ask them like, how do I train him to do this with this specific command? Acknowledge me.
They're gonna be like, should she have this animal? Like, acknowledge your master.
Well, because then I'm curious is every time Roman Reigns is on TV and says acknowledge me, if Cheddar will be like, oh, he'll be acknowledging the big dog. It's so great.
Yeah, we'll go great.
These are my dreams.
Speaking of that, how about how like ridiculously over he was in whatever flyover town? I think they were in Middle America. Like, where the hell were they? Like Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, something, one of those like
in the Midwest. Yeah,
like fill of corn states. Yeah, they really loved Roman.
They loved Roman. They loved Edge, right? Because that was that in the same, or is that? No, they were in England, right? For I don't know. I'm so confused because some of them are in Europe right now.
SmackDown was in the UK, Raw was in Middle America, like somewhere in the middle of the country. Yeah, they loved Edge until he went for all that cheap heat, you know, like you're stupid, you're ugly, you don't have teeth, you can't read. Like it was very paint by numbers.
Well, that was like, I don't know what else he could have possibly have done. And it's so funny now after I've watched Vikings. Anyone who's watched Vikings or anyone who will watch Vikings will 100% understand why Edge was cast for the character. The character, spoilers, does a heel turn. Like he seems like this really great, really like trustworthy and like pillar of your community type dude. And then he just murders an entire family and like loses it and then lies about it, gets a king overthrown. Like Edge. He is Edge as a Viking. So yes. But as he was doing that now, I was just like laughing in my head because like I saw that character in him at that moment. Highly recommend all the seasons of Vikings up until season 6 because I'm having a hard time getting through that one myself.
I haven't even heard of that show, to be honest with you.
It's worth a watch. It really is. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Yes, there's some strong female characters. Yeah, highly recommend.
Nice.
And I mean, Edge pops up in like season 3 or 4, so
Can't go wrong with Edge.
no, you cannot. Yeah. What was? Oh, and I do have something for our wrestling paraphernalia corner. I was gonna bring in my John Cena gnomes, but it's raining outside, and screw that. So instead, I got this.
Aww.
This is a little shirt for like a teddy bear or something. I have put it on a cat before, which is why one of these is drawn out. Yeah,
Aww.
it's adorable. Valentine's Day. It's funny because an ex got this for me for Valentine's Day on a bear. And I had no interest in the, like when we broke up, I ripped this off the bear and got rid of the bear and just hung on to this. I mean, really. I have no idea where he like got this either. I don't think is it official merch? Oh my God, it is. It is official merch.
How about that?
I thought I was gonna say like, Gideon or whatever on it.
I found my Southpaw Regional Wrestling shirt.
Ah,
hang on.
Are you? Oh, I was gonna say, are you wearing it?
No.
Alrighty.
I'm just right behind the laptop.
Okay. Yes. And then
body voice.
Yeah. Today I'm wearing my Danhausen and MJF shirt from Comic-Con, which was quite fun because I was actually there for all of this and got to see part of this interaction. MJF actually, I don't know if I've ever said on camera before about the trouble he got in at Comic-Con. He was like yelling shit at people going by, and like Comic-Con's not just wrestling fans, obviously. Like he's just in the middle of the con floor and of the showroom floor, and someone multiple someones went up to security because he was just harassing people who were going by as well as wrestling fans who were paying to see him. And security had to come and be like, you need to tell him to stop. And the guys running it were just like, yeah, good luck with that. And he wouldn't. I think he was kicked out the one day or like escorted out or something. I don't know. All very MJF things.
So,
that's wonderful.
Yeah. It was official WWE merchandise. They had it for sale on their site like 2 or 3 years ago. I got it, maybe more. I don't know. Time means nothing since 2020. Could have been 5 years ago. Could have been 2. I don't know.
Yeah. That reminded me. Did you see Smash or Pass of title belts with Tom on Cultaholic?
No, I honestly haven't watched any Cultaholic in a couple months.
I highly recommend, like, if you're for a good laugh, he's looking at title belts and saying if he'd smash them, like,
yeah,
it's fantastic. Because when he gets the winged eagle belt, I felt so uncomfortable at one point. I was like, oh my God.
That's like everyone's favorite belt. So I can only imagine how weird that got.
I like turned it down because I was the only one home, but I was like, I don't want the neighbors hearing this. Windows are open. Jesus, they're gonna think I'm watching porn with the windows open.
I haven't seen the podcast in a while because I mean they're like 3+ hours long and I can't do it anymore. If I go for a long drive, like maybe I'll put like the latest one that's on, but I can't. And I'll always watch WTF if there's a pay-per-view now or a premium live event with WWE. I will never miss a WTF because that's always been my favorite thing and I was heartbroken that apparently they weren't doing well.
I
And
was so heartbroken for Ross because he took that so personally.
I know, and that was my favorite thing to watch. And I'm like, how are other people not watching this? They're great. Like,
The algorithm, it just wasn't like feeding it to people, apparently.
that's such a bummer because he obviously put so much work into those and he was always funny. And God, I miss it's John o'clock. Like, that's like
Oh, that and I put my fingers into my eyes. There so many things like are like little earworms that get in there that he does to the point where yeah, some of the things that he said, like when I worked at Name Redacted, I would it would come up in like everyday conversation because I'm just like a parrot that parrots back things I hear all the time. Shoosh. Thank you. Like those are my new things. But I was saying that to the point where people around me started saying those things too who were not wrestling fans. Like specifically the I stick my fingers into my eyes thing.
The end is nigh thing is something like that, like made its way into my everyday speak. Like,
oh yeah. 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 And the John o'clock is a good one, or the tea time.
yeah.
I love that one.
And SmackDown Pat I like a lot too. Like the SmackDown Pat. Yeah, I'm very like sad that we only see those for pay-per-views now. I get it if they're they're like a company. They're not just that's not like a little habit for them. Like that's their jobs. And if something is costing more money to make than like they're getting back from people watching, then I get they have to cut it. But
yeah, same with Graded. Like Graded was great if you weren't able to catch something. Like I would just watch Graded.
I honestly, we only ever watched like punishments, reactions, predictions, and WTF. Like as far as like any like the newsy ones, like the like graded or what just happened or like Pachidi's like lists and everything. We didn't really watch those much. Like
I love Adam Pacidi's voice, and I will put on the lists to go to sleep.
His like British newscaster voice that he switches on to for that, it cracks me up every time. And I love all of their impressions of Adam Pacidi's voice because they're all dead on.
Yeah. I will say so. There are two things I can listen to a lot of things on Cultaholic to like lull me to sleep. And it always has to be stuff I've always heard that I've heard before. But I could not listen to WTF just because like Ross does such fluctuations. That and the podcast, those two will wake me the fuck up. And it always happens. I'm a terrible person also to wake up. In that I am grumpy McGrumperson in the morning. Like I've told my cats to shut their filthy meow holes when they've woken me up before. I'm just not nice. But so I've definitely had Ross in one of his like moments wake me up when I'm in that like falling asleep almost there, and just rage fills me. I'm just like, God damn it, Ross.
That would it's 10 o'clock. Yeah, that would wake me the hell right up too.
Yeah, and it's not a nice way to wake up.
No, I can imagine. No. I wish I could still watch the podcast and stuff because I love Matthew. Like,
oh yeah,
I adore him. Matthew. I'll put on like when he's on Twitch, like I'll watch occasionally, and a couple times like I've spoken up in chat and he's responded, and he's super nice. Same thing with Pachidi. Like,
yeah, they're all super nice.
He hasn't been. He had COVID, right? I think
so, yeah.
Because he hasn't streamed for his see you next Tuesday stream that they refer to as, and that's the name of the Tuesday streams. But he hasn't been on. But yeah, he's always been really cool there. Like, so I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, I will also say, Tom. So with everyone being in the UK, Tom actually also just did an interview with Ridge Holland, and Tom is a great interviewer. It just seems like they were best friends for forever, like very much so. Renee Paquette,
sure,
Very much so her vibes with how he does it. Also, it's great seeing the wrestlers next to like a normal sized human being, or I assume Tom is a normal sized human being, and just seeing how like he's like a brick wall, Bridge Holland. But just so freaking nice. I guess after the interview, after like they put it up, he sent like Tom a message like saying like thank you so much for having me on and whatnot.
Aww.
Just very nice.
Yeah, Tom seems like a genuinely just good soul. Like, there's just something about him that radiates like this is a good person.
Yeah. And I mean, Tom's cat Pablo sent my cat Pablo a birthday message last year, which it is both Pablo and Penny's birthdays today. They are twin cats born of the same litter. So I did not have, I mean, I guess I could have had Penny included in that message, but I mean, it's just funnier that way.
Pablo to Pablo. I saw that message when you got it. Remember you showed me? It's cute.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. I threw it up on like all of my social medias. But oh yes, Pablo, our cat loved it. So in that he loves it when he gets any swarm, like any kind of attention. He's like, oh yes, hello humans. Give me the love.
A lot of them are like that. A lot of cats are not as standoffish as they
People
have a
like
reputation like for being. Mine are too attached sometimes that like I'm trying to work and I'm like, you need to move, you need to move, you need to move.
I got mine a little laptop because it worked with books before. Like they say that your cat wants to do what you're doing, and that's why. So I've given them a book while I'm reading before, and that's worked. But laptop, I didn't have one laying around that I wanted them to lay on. So I bought them like one that's specific for that and has some catnip in it. Works great.
Nice.
No one bothers me now. Unless they start fighting over the laptop, which is another issue.
That happens with the one catnip, the little like ball on the racetrack thing. And I think I told you there was like a burlap thing of catnip on top of it. They got through burlap into the catnip. So I will see occasionally one of their heads inside of it, licking up the catnip that's in there. Or they'll lay on it and use it as a bed. And occasionally they'll use it how it's intended as a toy.
Yeah. Cats are great. Yes. We have, so one of the things, my cats are extraordinarily spoiled, but they have a cat bed that looks like if you've seen the Mandalorian thing that the child is in, like their little floating pod thing. Well, I have that for them, and they were going inside it, and then one of them decided, wouldn't it be much better just sit on top of it and crush it in? So that's now how they all lay on it.
Nice.
I mean, they're using it, so whatever.
Yeah, at least they're using it. Not like mine that'll see a new bed I buy them and they're like, funny, and then just come back and lay right on top of me.
Oh yeah, no, mine will enjoy whatever I bring them. One of them at least always will. Like I have a bed that I bought recently that looks like a crown and with a big plush thing inside. My cat Scarlet, you cannot get her out of it. Like in the mornings now for breakfast, I have to come in and pick her up out of it and walk her to her bowl because she got the message with the crown. I'm like, I am the queen. Move me, servant.
Yeah, not mine. They each have one bed that they'll use. It's in their bedroom because yes, my cats have their own room. I mean, we have 3 bedrooms. There's only 2 of us, so one of them, like, all right, it's cat's room. They each have a bed in there that they'll use that they'll go into at night. But all the other stuff that I got them that's downstairs, just collecting dust. They don't. I keep hoping, like maybe one day they'll climb in it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. They're just basically decoration downstairs now.
Yeah. I've had there's only ever been one bed that they haven't used, and I don't know why. And meanwhile, they've had like 10 different beds, so they've used all the others. Just this one they did not like. No idea why.
They're weird. Weird animals.
Yeah. Penny hated it so much she crawled in there and peed. So I knew why they didn't like it after that.
Yeah.
Usually she only spite pees on things that the others like. She yeah, she did that specifically to Dobby. I had to wash he has a ball pit. It's for children. I got it for my cat. He loves it. He'll play like volleyball in there with the balls and everything else. It's so stinging cute. Well, Penny didn't like that he had that and pissed all over it. So I had to like hand wash it, clean all the balls, and then now she's not allowed in the room that it's in. So
that sucks.
Yeah. She shows her feelings through her urine, and that's something that is not okay.
No, I mean it could be worse. My one cat takes I call them protest shits. That if like God, it happened today. I just cleaned out the litter boxes last night. Like they were just like freshly done last night. And by like 2 o'clock this afternoon, because one of them peed in it, she was like, no, and she shit right on the side of it. I'm like, like I'm not gonna scoop every single second that you guys go to the bathroom. Like
litter robots are great. They're
they would never.
Expensive.
They would never. I know my cats would never. They won't even use one that's covered. Like they are afraid to. Nope.
Yeah.
No, mine are. They're weird. They're weird like me. Like
you'd think they'd want the extra protection.
They'll go in it, but well, she'll go in a covered one. He will not.
Yeah.
Will not. I got rid of one of the old ones because it was like older and it wasn't covered, and I got like a bigger covered one. So all three, because I have 3 boxes for them, all 3 of them had a cover. So he started going to the bathroom outside of the litter box, and I was like, okay. So I just took the cover off of it, and it just sits in a corner in the room, and it's open. So he'll use that now because now it's open. Yeah.
Oh, kitties.
And they won't use a liner either. I've tried that. They will not use a litter box with a liner in it either, or they'll shit outside of it. They are so lovely. I love my animals.
Jasper used to, if there was like a plastic bag or something that fell on the floor, you had a very limited amount of time to get that off the floor before he would piss on it.
Oof.
Yeah, he did not. If he felt something did not belong on the floor, you would pay for it. Yeah. So that was a thing that happened for 12 years.
Fun.
Yeah.
My Lily just chews on them. If a plastic bag is like left on the floor or anything, you'll hear her gnawing at it, and
Pablo won't eat it.
Like she won't eat it and swallow it. She just like licks it and then like gnaws on it, and I'm like, no, I have to throw it away.
If Scarlett sees and can get access to like a bag with bread in it, a loaf of bread, hot dog, whatever, she will go up and she will bite through the plastic so that she takes a bite out of each piece of bread. Sometimes she'll eat some of it, like eat through the plastic to get to the bread. But yeah, she'll just ruin an entire loaf of bread. Have to hide it.
Yeah, cats are not as chill and leave them alone as people would have you believe. They are mischievous little assholes, but there are assholes and we love them.
Yeah, because mine are all also very, very affectionate. Funny story. So I had a fire over. We had a fire and some friends over because we're trying to socialize the new dog. And Liz and Kelly were here, and they are animal people who had to go through all this socializing with their dog as well. But when Liz went to the bathroom, our cat Oliver was in there, and Oliver has a thing where like if he has the chance, he will slap Liz's ass with his little paw. Like if she walks by him, he's like, bam, bam, bam. Just her, not Kelly, just her.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So he was in the bathroom with her, and she's like, as I was peeing, he just started growling at me. Like, I was terrified. So then she's like, she opened the door a little bit, trying to like get him to leave, and he would not. He just started growling at her more. And then in walked another cat.
Oh my God.
And then they started fighting. And like,
Oh, it's a fun bathroom experience.
yep. I was like, sorry about that. And she's like, I'm used to it. I have cats. But the growling was not fun because he did not have access to my butt. So I don't know what he was going to do.
Oh, it's too funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I do. So multiple wrestlers do have like Instagrams and stuff for their pets. Do you follow any of them?
No, the only one I know of that has something is Natty with
Two Paws.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Natty, Stannis, who is Keith Lee and Mia Yim's dog, initially just hers, but then Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler, their dog, has an Instagram.
Aw.
Yeah, so cute. Um uh Jessamine Dukes, I don't think her dog has their own Instagram yet. It's a bulldog Paparoonie, because that's what Stannis is. Renee's and John Moxley's dog does. I don't know if Pancake does, who is wow, I'm realizing how many of these animals I know. Carmella and Corey Graves' dog, Pancake. I just thought that was such a cute name.
You know a lot more about their animals than I do.
Yeah, I probably know a lot more about their animals than I do about them. Obviously Alexa Bliss had that piggy. Ugh, Larry Steve. That was horrible. I sobbed when, like, from everything that poor pig went through.
Yeah, I was very sad when I read all of that. I felt so my heart broke for her because
Mm-hmm.
I mean pets are family and
Yeah.
she obviously adored that pig. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was very sad. I felt terrible.
And it's also so weird for like someone who lives in a place where they have access to veterinarians who work with pigs or whatever animals that you like. That's very common around here. I'm like, what do you mean you couldn't get a vet to come? And I was like, you live in LA.
Yeah.
But even then, you would think there would have to be, like, celebrities are strange folk. There has to be plenty of people who have pigs in LA.
Yeah, and don't you have to like when you're training to be a vet, learn how to work on like farm animals as well as domestic pets? Like,
Well, we know if you're a vet tech, you do.
yeah, it's
You
true.
had better be prepared to impregnate a horse.
Oh,
We never did that, but we had to talk to lots of people who did.
yeah, it doesn't sound fun. All I see is scenes from Jackass. Oh, I think that was a cow that they either way, it was not.
I mean, I did watch Austin Gunn on TV inseminate a cow recently. So
Thank you. Talked about that.
yeah, I guess if you have a cow that needs to be inseminated, give Austin Gunn a call. The Ass Boys have many talents.
Ass boys. I love that. Like that's what they're being called.
Mm-hmm.
Not officially, obviously, but by other talent, it's very funny. Like,
I love that also that Billy Gunn thinks it's great.
does he?
Yeah, he loves it. I think partially because he knew that it would really like be great for his kids to be called that, because I don't think he enjoyed being called the ass man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a different era.
Mm-hmm. I started singing at Nom Catman, which I just changed it to like, I'm a cat man. Bang, bang. And he was like, really? I love to kick him. And I was like, well, we can just change some of that too, sir. And he's like, I don't like this.
I'm not a fan.
Mm-hmm. I was like, well, too bad. This is your new theme song.
Oh,
So I'm like, isn't part of it like I love to kiss them? Who doesn't know if they kissing their little kitty faces?
I always kiss my little kitties on the head. I always give them a little right here, like between the ears, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're a baby.
Mm, they definitely are. They're like my kids.
Oh, yes. Back when I worked in the office, I had one of those strings that had like lights and little clips on it so you can hang up the photos. And all of my pets were just around my desk.
Oh, I wish that I can do something cool like that, but we have a clean desk policy, so we have a limited amount of stuff that we can have. Like we're only allowed like 2 5x7 photos on our desk. Yeah, I know. It wasn't like that the first time I worked there. I used to have shit all over when I first worked there. Like it was all decorated. And I was like so excited to go back. So I was like, oh, I have all like my Funko Pops that I can bring and blah, blah. No, you're allowed like a box of tissues or like it's a specific amount of things off of a pre-decided list of what you're allowed to have on your desk and nothing fun like like the Funko Pops or anything like that, which sucks.
What you need is a tissue box that is made out of Funko Pops.
Right? That is one of the items we're allowed to have. You know, they count your eyeglasses as an item that you could have on your desk. Yeah, that is counted as an item. So if I were to like take these off and set them down, it would go towards the amount of items that I am allowed on my desk.
I feel like that is a lawsuit waiting to happen because I think that's protected under Americans with Disabilities Act. Like,
Well, no,
I'm,
not that you're not allowed to have them. It counts as one of your items. So
yeah, I still think you could probably fight that legally if you ever wanted to for
it's
some reason.
not a US company, so I don't know if that would matter.
Yeah. I mean, since they're operating in the US, all workers are protected under the same thing. But
Oh my God, I
yeah.
just forgot how to drink.
I anoint you.
Oh my God. Wow, that was caught on video for the internet to live on forever.
For a second, I was just like, I didn't think I was that funny, but okay.
Anywho,
Well, with that, I think this is a good time to end since Megan has to relearn how to drink fluids. Um, Next week we will probably be talking about the pay-per-view and whatever else happens in wrestling.
yeah, it's an old probably Dynamite if we can remember what happened on Dynamite tonight. Rampage, go home show for SmackDown, and Backlash will probably be what we're talking about next week.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, as always, hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Yeah, but
Adieu.